From my phone on Sunday night without any makeup, that's when you know it's bad. No, I'm kidding. Really, but it's like first world problems type of thing. Okay, hold on. I need a new light as well. Like, I originally bought them because just as a backup, pretty much, when my large one broke over a year ago now at this point. But I feel like I need another proper one because every time I do like makeup review videos or something, it's just not enough. You guys. Is Mercury over yet? Because I'm ready for this to be done with. Like, it already torpedoed my entire birthday month, okay? The Leo season of August 2020, which is fine. You know, we're just gonna extend it if need be. But, like, what the hell is going on? So my computer, as I was uploading my latest Get Ready With Me video, it was like a big one too. I tried out all these new products and it was over 30 minutes long. I was super excited to get it up, but right in the middle of uploading, my entire computer screen just went black. Like my entire MacBook, I have a MacBook Pro. I only had it for not even years. I bought it January of 2023 and yeah, the screen just completely went black. Like the whole thing crashed. I was able to get it up and like I rebooted and now the keyboard and the screen, the little strip at the top work, and I was able to airdrop an image onto my laptop early. But the thing is that the display screen is still completely black. So I think something happened to where maybe like, I don't know, I was reading online that there's a ribbon that may have gotten burnt or disconnected or something, and I tried to unscrew the back with this little screw here, but I don't even think it matches because this one has like 6 spokes and apparently the little MacBook screws have only 5 spokes, so I don't supposed to get a screw that fits that. And yeah, I'm not going into an Apple store because first of all, I don't even know if I have, what's it called, Apple Care, whatever their insurance plan is, because I was probably a dummy and didn't get it. But I also did not expect for my computer to crash within less than 2 years of using it. Like, I'm so pissed off. I hate, like, I truly cannot stand Apple as a company. And yet I use their products because yes, it's sleek and it's the popular thing and all of that. It fits the aesthetic. But like, I'm at my wit's end here. Oh, I'm not even able to, hold on, can I see? What? Sorry, I was just trying to look at my comments and wait a minute. Okay, only subscribers can comment. Thank you very much. Yeah, only subscribers. So yeah, I was like set, and I had planned to do, you know, this whole live stream about dark femininity, how to apply dark femininity, whatever goal that you're trying to achieve, particularly one that you may be having trouble with. Like for some people, it could be weight loss, weight management. For others, it could be, you know, manifesting a better career or manifesting more money. And so I was so excited to do that. Like I was so hyped. But when my computer crashed, I just like lost all the willpower. I feel like I short-circuited in my brain, and I don't know, maybe it was a test from the universe to see like how are you going to react when your computer crashes, which is not even that big of a deal in the scheme. of things. But like, yeah, I basically had an entire meltdown and I ended up just staying in bed for most of Sunday, which is good because now I'm very well rested. But like, I was so upset because, you know, you just have this plan in your head. Like, I had this plan that I was going to use. Like, I had dealt with the BS commuting to work all of last week, which is over an hour each way for me, right? So starting from this month, it's going to be better because only for the first month I was required to go in every day. And then, like, on the last day, actually on Thursday, so Friday was August 30th. That was the last business day of August. But I actually ended up taking a work from home day on that day because I needed to go to the ward office to get some paperwork done. And so my boss, like my manager, is actually very, very nice and understanding. So he was like, yeah, you know, from now on we can totally do hybrid model for you. You can work from home like maybe 2 or 3 days a week. Maybe you can start off with just like 2 days and then we can ramp it up. And yeah, I really appreciate that. But at the same time, you know, I feel like it's 48 laws of power. You want to kind of observe that still. So I'm balancing like, okay, how much can I get him to concede for me and how much of an act do I still have to put up in the first 3 months at least, right? Because this is technically a probation period. But anyway, so I got through the first month and I don't know, I was really looking forward in my head to finally being able to like use the entire weekend myself and my content creation. And then my computer crashes and I just completely like had a meltdown and started spiraling and just, yeah, went to sleep. And I eventually, okay, so I was able to get the computer up and running again. Like I was able to log in because I see on the touchpad strip there, it says like, you know, use your put your thumb on the button so that, what's it called, like touch log, touch ID login. And so I was able to log in. It's just that the screen is still black, right? Even if I try to adjust the brightness. So I had this brilliant idea that, you know what, I'm just gonna go buy the cheapest computer monitor, like the cheapest display screen that I can find, and plug that into my Mac. And then I'll just be able to use it for the time being, at least until I figure out how to get it without having to go spend like $300 or something in an Apple store. Yeah, for the time being, I will just make it so that I can, you know, do my thing and work from my computer using the monitor. So then I have a big camera, and of course the cheapest monitor that they had was like 15,000, which is not a big deal, but I was like, oh my god, I really don't feel like spending that much money on such an impromptu purchase. But then I was also really upset that if I order it online, it's not gonna come like in time for me to do all of the videos that I wanted to do this weekend. Like it would, but I ended up getting I ended up going on Amazon and seeing that okay, they had a bunch of sales and there was this one for only 6,000 yen, so I kind of had to concede that okay, I'm not gonna spend 15,000 yen on a screen just because I'm having like a panic melt right now. Let's put our big girl panties on and get it together and just order this from Amazon. It's still gonna come relatively quickly, right? It said that it was gonna come by the 3rd, which is Tuesday. And then also somebody invited me to Tokyo Fashion Show, Tokyo Fashion Week on Tuesday. So they first invited me on Monday, but it starts at 4:30, the show on Monday in Shibuya. And like, okay, you know that I work until 6 p.m., right? So if I can go, that would be great. But he was like, no, we have to be there by 4 p.m. and then it'll start at 4:30 p.m. So I don't know how fashion shows work because I've never been to one. But like, obviously I really know, but I'm not going to, you know, I'm not gonna take off work for that unless you compensate me for the day off that I would be missing for the wages for that day. But not like I can take any time off anyway because I'm still in my probation for this new job. So then he texts me again today and he's like, how about on Tuesday I have another set of tickets for, because it's Tokyo Fashion Week, because they have different shows every day. And I would think that he would have passes all the shows, but I guess not. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure what his affiliation is. I know that he said that he used to, he like back in the day he launched some sort of underground fashion brand with some of his associates, so maybe that's where his connections come from. But anyway, he was like, I have another set of tickets for a show on Tuesday. This one starts at 6 p.m. same place, Shibuya. It starts at 6:30, but we have to be there by 6 p.m. So do you think if you can get off early, work just a little bit early, like maybe you can go to that one? And so I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna see what I can do, you know, because I'm supposed to get my work phone tomorrow, or I mean, my manager didn't say an exact date, but he's been saying since the beginning of last week that we need to get my work phone in my hands because that's important for my job. I'm in cybersecurity, so I need like a phone to test all of the phishing email, whatever um drills that we send out, things like that. And so if I get my work phone tomorrow, I'm thinking maybe I could ask to work from home on Tuesday and like maybe somehow finesse my way into being able to leave at 5 p.m. Because usually, like, by the time it's late into the afternoon, nobody bothers anyone else anyway. Everyone is just doing their own thing. Like, usually, I'm thinking about this week, so I don't have any meetings necessarily. I only meet up with the guy that I'm kind of training under, so manager, but the other more senior cybersecurity guy in our team, he's kind of like training me and he's helping me out with anything that I don't understand. And usually we have a little meeting 10:30 a.m. just to talk about like what are we gonna do for the day, or like what tasks are of the most urgent priority at the moment. So yeah, after that, we really don't interact that much, especially especially right now because he has this other project that is eating up most of his time. So yeah. Um anyway. So yeah. Hold on a minute. I feel like I look cuter than I thought without makeup on. Maybe I was being too harsh on myself. I feel like I look pretty cute right now. I feel like I look cuter on my camera's phone than I do on my camera. On my phone's camera than I do on my camera. This one. I have the PowerShot G7X Mark III. I kind of, but whatever. Oh my god, I was spiraling. It's not my proudest moment, but listen, maybe it had to happen, okay? Maybe this was the universe's way of showing me, hey, you know, look at how fragile you are, that you're like having a mental breakdown just because you have a little bit of a glitch with your laptop. Like, is your life that dependent on your connection to social media? Maybe that was the message that was meant to receive this weekend. But like, I feel that I didn't need to receive that message because I already knew, you know, I already own the type of person I am. Like, I wouldn't say I'm not the type of person that I don't live for likes necessarily, but I'm definitely a stunt queen. Like, I definitely love social media and not like the super low vibrational drama aspects of it, but the little scratching the surface kind of aspects of social media I do quite enjoy because I'm a stunt queen at heart. Like, I was born to stunt. I was born to flex. I think that was from a Cardi B song. I can't remember which one. I was born to flex, diamonds on my dress, something like that. That's me, okay? I'm a Leo. What can I say? And after working like so hard, after, you know, going on the freaking crowded ass Tokyo train twice a day for 5 days straight, I was really looking forward to my social media time. That was gonna be the reward at the end of the day. And it, not just a reward for me, but I had some really like I had really good content planned for the whole dark femininity topic, like dark femininity tactics that you can use, psychological tactics that you can use to kind of fire your brain or to reorientate your view on something, like restructure the way that you think about certain things, certain issues in your life, so that it benefits you, right? So that you're always the one that ends out on top. You're always the one that benefits the most. You're the one that is placed in the center as the main of your own life. You need dark, I mean, You can do things without it, right? But it's much easier and it's much more natural to us women to use dark femininity. That's what it's there for. And dark doesn't necessarily mean bad. It just means dark, right? It just means more very intense, very like dark matter. You don't know exactly what goes into it, the ingredients and intuitiveness that we all have as women, and every woman has the ability to tap into her dark feminine. And again, what may not be impossible, I mean, it's not impossible to manifest whatever you want by brute force, let's say, like earthly means, the way that men would more likely manifest things. Like they use their actual labor in this 3D world. But as women, since we are inherently connected to the dark feminine by nature, it's like, why not use that to our advantage, right? Because it's much harder for us to just only work within the 3D, only work with the physical tools that have been given to us. Why should we limit ourselves to that when we have access, like a direct path to the flow of dark feminine energy that is all coming from the same source within this universe? So yeah, I was gonna make that video, but I might do an audio recording for that one, because there are some nuances that I want to get into that I feel like I wouldn't be able to cover as satisfactorily, is that a word? It wouldn't be as satisfactory if I did it off the cuff on a live stream. But yeah, I'm gonna do a video about dark femininity tactics, like how you should use the concept of a villain era to your advantage. Like you should totally, if there is something, so I want to talk about it in terms of if there is a specific goal that you feel like is just especially difficult for you, like you see other people, it seems like they can use just regular tactics, right? They can just, like weight loss, for example. It seems like other people, all they have to do is make a meal plan, make a schedule for themselves when they're gonna get to the gym or when they're gonna dance class, whatever. And as long as they stick to that schedule, like it seems effortless for them, right? It's never, I mean, don't ever take things at face value, by the way. Just a reminder, a lot of people make it seem effortless. They make it seem like they're not even trying on social media, but you never know what's actually going on behind the scenes. But that being said, there are also like, there's people for which weight loss is not that big of a deal. All they know, all they have to do is follow a certain regimen or cut calories to a certain degree. They know what works for them and their body already, and so they just do it. And they also have the advantage of maybe not having as many mental blocks, maybe not having as much emotional baggage, right, as somebody who may have found it difficult or a struggle to lose weight their entire lives because of certain mental beliefs about that they have tied to their weight. That's really where it all starts. And so that's why I feel like it's really important to get your energetics around any goal that you have balanced before you actually try to implement any sort of plan in the 3D. Because if you don't get the basics, if you don't get the basic energetics balanced beforehand, then nothing that you is ever going to be able to bring fruit to your labors. Like you will never be outwork, okay? You'll never be able to out labor in the 3D a bad energetic base, if that makes sense. You know how they say that you'll never be able to outrun or out exercise a bad diet? Well, the same concept can be applied to energetics, like your emotional state, your psychological hangups when it relates to food, when it relates to your weight. If you don't get your mindset around that straightened out, then it doesn't matter how gung-ho, even how strict, how successful you are at maintaining a certain diet or a certain exercise regime, you are still, as long as you're still holding on to those limiting thoughts or sometimes like downright self-damaging, self-berating thoughts when it comes to your weight. Like for example, you might consciously, on some subconscious level, you might actually think that you don't deserve to be thin, right? Because if you were thin, God forbid, now you're going to have thin privilege. Now they're going to see you more attractive as a whole, which means that they're going to give you more benefits just based on the fact that you're more attractive, right? Because people are shallow. We live in a shallow, superficial world. And maybe deep down you feel like, well, that doesn't line up of concept because I don't think of myself as somebody who deserves special treatment from other people. Well, there you go. Now you've just been able to diagnose and figure out where you are in misalignment. And so how could you possibly expect to lose weight to actually reach your goal weight when you're still hanging on to that conscious belief that you don't actually deserve any special treatment, right? If you believe that you don't deserve to experience pretty privilege in your life, for some reason you feel like it's okay for other people, for yourself it just doesn't feel right, or it just feels like it's too much for you, it's more than you deserve. You gotta find a way to flip that narrative on its head. Like you need to either there's a couple of different ways to do it, right? For every person the exact process is different, but this is where the concept of transmutation comes in, right? You need to transmute, find a way to transmute, like basically break down your original narrative that you have in your head or in your subconscious that's not serving you, and turn it into something that does serve you. Like, no, if you find yourself thinking, okay, well, I don't deserve to have pretty privilege, ask yourself why. First of all, try to get to the root of the issue, right? Is it because of something that someone said to you when you were younger? Did a parent say that to you? Did school, maybe a certain teacher tried to, or a certain bully, let's say, on the playground, maybe they called you ugly, they tried to drill it into your head that you're not special, you're not going to be treated differently, you're not be treated special because of XYZ. I don't know. You know how kids are, right? Why, first of all, who planted that thought in your head that you're not worthy? Could it possibly even be your own culture? Okay, so I'm not trying to get too political here, but could that, for example, if you were raised in Japanese culture or with a Japanese background, you know, they emphasize humility a lot in this culture, which is great, but everything in moderation, right? Anything, any concept, like any idea, any philosophy, when taken to the extreme, it can become a bad thing, right? It can be good if it's practiced in a responsible way, in a way that is mindful of how is this going to be beneficial to everyone, right? But people take it to the extreme, or you just have a lot of what happens is that the adults, like the authority figures that are in our lives as children, unfortunately, you know, if you're lucky, you will come across adults that are actually very healthy and they know what they're talking about, and they know how to they've healed their own wounds, so they know how to really guide and nurture a child to be able to develop all these coping mechanisms in a healthy way, like to be able to be a good citizen, to adhere by the cultural and societal norms of whatever place they happen to be in or grow up in, but in a way that is not damaging to themselves, right? But unfortunately, as we all probably know to some extent, or in some area of our lives at least, unfortunately, there are a lot of adults out there that actually have not truly been able to, have not learned how to apply these kind of general concepts that are taught to us through whether it be culture, religion, or whatnot. They have not learned to kind of take a stand to say that, okay, to decide for themselves whether or not they accept a certain way of thinking or not. Right? So like, for example, in Japanese society, there's this saying that you should not, they're saying that deru kui wa utareru. I'm not sure if I said that correctly. It means that the nail that sticks out is hammered back down, right? So you're not supposed to stick out. You're not supposed to make a scene. You're supposed to just fall in line, do what you're supposed to do, be a responsible citizen, shakaijin, as they say. Responsible society person is what it literally translates to. And yeah, don't make a scene. don't inconvenience other people. That's one, right? And also don't think that you're special, right? Humility is a big thing in this culture, which is great. But okay, to what extent are you expected to do that though? To what extent are you willing to do that? So for me personally, I mean, I wasn't born and raised here, but I came here later. I came here after graduation and I wanted to work here. Like, I wanted to live in Japan ever since I was 15, 16 years old. So I had to learn how to move within this society so that I would be respected and not regarded as an outcast, right? So there were certain things where I personally I didn't necessarily agree with, but I decided that, okay, I'm gonna play along to get along in certain situations, like social settings, for example. People value like teamwork, let's say. Or okay, let's say that, in this society, people really value that you pull your own weight, so to speak, in any situation. So whether that be let's just take work for example, right? Like, I remember the first company I worked for, it was a very traditional Japanese company. It had been over 100 plus years. It was one of those companies. I was the only American in the corporate office, or I think the only American period at the time, at least. Working, yeah, the only one with American citizenship, working at that company. And they have a system where it's called Toban. So they have certain chores, but not chores like we didn't have to clean out the sink or anything. It was like, for example, the filing cabinets that we had, they needed to be locked up every day before we office, which was kind of pointless. I felt like, because just locking them up itself, I felt like that was a very pointless endeavor, because like, what if there was an earthquake or a fire or something? I don't think that locking so now everything's still gonna burn, but it's just gonna be at a slower rate. Like, locking up the filing cabinets is not going to prevent anyone from coming in and taking our files. They would just be able to, I don't know. Like, they would have to first get through the security at the front door, obviously. So if they had the means to get through the security, then they have the means to find the key that unlocks all of the filing cabinets. But anyway, we had a system where like everyone in our group, right? So let's say there's 10 people in our department, like we would all have to take turns on a certain week to take care of that task, right? So for, 1 week, one guy has to lock up all the cabinets at the end of the day, and the second week, the other guy, and then third week, fourth week, so on and so forth until it gets to me. So when my week comes, I have to lock up all the cabinets before everyone goes home, or by 6 p.m. whenever our working hours ended. And so like that part I'm totally fine with, right? I'll play along to get along, whatever, even if it's not, even if I only don't think that there's a point to it. Like, I kind of thought it was a meaningless task to lock up the filing cabinets. I was very happy to play along, because it's kind of just like a symbolic thing, right? It shows that you're cooperative and you're trying to get along with everyone. Like, you want to be a part of this group, you're appreciative, and you're gonna do the baseline socially acceptable thing of you're not gonna like make a fuss about something that's so small, right? I feel like that's fine. That kind of acceptance of that type of ritual is not the right word. But yeah, like, acceptance of that type of behavior is fine insofar as it's helpful to you to navigate in a certain society, right? Where I draw though personally is that I'm not going to internalize that, okay? I'm not going to bring that into my personal inner world, So I'm not going to, for example, if our work hours are designated in my contract, like it's printed in the ink that I come to work and I'm expected to work from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., I'm not going to take that idea of, oh, be a cooperative, don't inconvenience other people, etc. I'm not going to extend that to my personal life past those 8 or 9 hours that I'm at, right? So it says in my contract that I'm working until 6 p.m. That means I'm shutting off my computer and I'm leaving. It doesn't matter how many people still want to email me or try to get hold of me after that. They should have thought about that before that clock struck 6 p.m. And so that part of like I don't let it go into my personal life. or into my my inner world is what I like to call it. And even if it were to result in people talking shit about me behind my back or something like that, um, that still doesn't mean that I'm gonna acquiesce, right? If you wanna talk shit about me behind my back for the fact that I'm refusing to work past the hours that are clearly designated in my at that point, it's on you. At that point, it's on the other person. That's not my responsibility, and I don't give a fuck, basically. And I'm gonna go home on time, get my skincare routine in, get my beauty rest, and come back to the office the next day looking as radiant and pretty as ever, and y'all can stay mad, basically. By the way, I didn't have that issue at my first job. But just as an example, right? This is what happens sometimes in certain social situations. So not necessarily work, but sometimes even groups that you're a part of. Like for example, well, maybe I won't get into that example, but sometimes you're part of certain groups like, you know, everyone wants to fit in. They want to have a social group, social network that they belong to. So even if it's not part of work, like for example, oh god, I don't like this example either. I was gonna say sororities and fraternities. I actually have never even been part of a sorority. Like I never rushed or anything. I think I slightly for like 48 hours maybe entertained rushing for a sorority when I was in college just because I met this other girl that she said she was rushing. So I was like, "Oh, okay, maybe I will do it just to see what it's all about." But then I think 2 days in, I was like, no," because they were on some bullshit. I don't. It was. I actually don't remember. To be completely honest with you, I don't remember because that's how little space it takes up in my brain. You know. So what am I getting at with all of this? Okay, I say all this to say that you need a healthy dose of dark femininity. It's gonna be when it comes to things that are effortless for you, like for example, some people it's very effortless for them to lose weight, right? If careful, like for example, during COVID, when everyone was staying inside and people were bored, you know, they reached for the chips a little bit more often than they used to. Maybe there were some people that if they're not careful, yes, they're gonna gain weight, obviously, if they start snacking more than usual. But once they realize that, oh crap, I gained weight, or you know, now I'm up 4 dress sizes in a matter of a single year and I didn't even notice it because we were just quarantining this whole time and we thought that this was going to be a temporary thing, but it turns out I've actually been living this sedentary lifestyle with all these bad food habits that I just picked up for almost an entire year now. The moment this it, some people are able to change course very quickly because they don't have any blocks when it comes to being thin, right? Like for them, their normal set point before the COVID weight was gained, their normal set point was already that of like a skinny person, somebody that had skinny privilege in society, um, and also just health privilege too, right? Their normal set point is a healthy person, somebody who feels good, who feels energized most of the time, who never had to really battle with food addiction, right? Somebody who's not an emotional eater. So that type of a person, they gain weight and they decide that, okay, I need to crack down a little bit, do some more exercises, maybe like make a few more healthier choices with my meals until I lose the extra 2 kilos or 5 kilos or whatever that I put on. It may be relatively easy for that person. They might not even, so they, in that case, they might not have to use dark feminine energy, right? Because that was not something that was such an emotionally charged, emotionally blocked process for them in the first place. For you, however, okay, whoever is watching this who needs to hear this, if you, and like, okay, you can take my advice or leave it. I understand if you feel that I'm not authorized to speak on this because I've never been like severely overweight or anything in my life. The most I've ever been is kind of chubby. So I can tell you my range for my entire adult life in terms of weight has been between 48 kilos and 54 kilos. So the heaviest I've ever been was 54 kilos. Actually, that's like 120 pounds, just about. I was 120 pounds throughout high school. I hated it. I always felt kind of chubby. Then when I went to university, I got down to 108 pounds, which is like 48, 49 kilos. That was when I felt my best. But I also distinctly remember that was when I was the most disciplined when it came to, obviously I was younger then, which meant that my metabolism was faster, but I was also very disciplined in the sense that I wasn't super healthy, but I never drank anything except water, for instance, which is kind of crazy now that I look back on it as I drink my Starbucks grab and go latte right now. But yeah, I remember I just refused to drink anything except for water, so I think that helped a lot with maintaining the weight. And then slowly, you know, I was able to maintain the 48 kilos for pretty much up until my mid 20s. And then I kind of I went up to 50, 52 when I reached 30. And then the heaviest I've ever been as like an adult was 54 kilos at 32, 33. And I actually don't know how much I weigh now because I kind of had to throw away my scale because Maxine peed on it. Yeah, that's a whole other story. But yeah, I can tell actually by the amount of vent in my arm. I know that sounds weird, but I can tell the difference between like 4 kilos and 52 kilos for me just by how skinny my wrist is. So right now it feels like for sure 52 kilos. But anyway, I would like to personally be back at 48 kilos, to be honest with you. It's not like a huge deal. I'm not, you know, I'm not beating myself up over it, but that's kind of my ultimate goal because I loved my body when it was 48 kilos. It was like super snatched. And I also just like the feeling of being very light. I don't like having any excess bloated feeling. I don't like feeling lethargic, you know. I noticed that I lethargic very easily, and I kind of had to this so you know, I'm saying this to say that I don't claim to know the exact struggle of somebody who has actually been obese or overweight, like clinically diagnosed obese. So if you feel like I'm not authorized to speak on this because of that, then that's fine. You don't need to my advice. But I'm just coming at this from kind of like a spiritual alchemy perspective, right? So just stay with me here if you want to hear how I use dark feminine energy to help me when it comes to weight loss or weight maintenance, because this is a difficult for me as well. Even though I've never been actually overweight, I've always been like slightly over my ideal weight. So it was pretty much only that one period in my life from like 18 to 25-ish when I was able to maintain the 48 kilo standard for myself. That was where I felt the most myself, you know. That's the weight that I felt the most comfortable at. That's where I was the most uninhibited with my clothing choices, like my style. I don't like it when I get up to 52, 54 kilos and I feel like I notice that I start to dress in order to hide certain aspects of my body, right? Like I will purposely pick a pair of pants with a looser waistline so that it kind of, you know, masks my fupa, which is cute, but I like I like to have hourglass shape be as defined as possible. And so when I get a little bloated, I notice that I start to pick my outfits based on what is going to hide my belly, what's going to hide my fupa the most. And I really hate that. It's not even the physical aspect of it. Like, if I were to wear the same clothes I did at 48 kilos, when I'm 52 kilos, nobody else around me would notice. Nobody's gonna be like, oh wow, you're 4 kilos heavier, so you're still gonna wear the same outfit. No, like it would look the same to anybody else, but to me, the way that I feel internally is just like I'm kind of not disappointed, but I'm just kind of like, oh, that's a bummer, you know, because I know that I can look better than this. And I feel like, okay, but why am I only operating at 80% capacity hotness when I could be at 100% hotness? You know, like this is how I think about it in my mind. And this is actually kind of part of the point that I'm trying to make. So it's this perspective. This is coming from the dark feminine perspective, okay? I want to look as hot as I possibly can for as long as possible, as long as I'm on this earth, on this 3D plane living, because because I can, okay? Because we're here and we only live once. And so why would I not want to be like the hottest, skinniest, most hourglass Coke bottle shaped version of myself? God already gave me the blueprint for a Coke bottle body. So why would I not take that and run with it, you know? So that I can get all the pretty privilege, okay, all the free dinners, all the free flights to Dubai, Dubai. I can't even talk. All the flights to Dubai so that I can be in, you know, I could be a villain in music videos. I can be a pole dancer. I can be a bottle girl, whatever. And then if I'm careful, as long as I do my skincare and I keep my looks up, I can do this until I'm like well into my 40s, okay? And that gives me like great joy on. Okay, I'm gonna use this word. So I put this in my Instagram bio. Some of you may have noticed it, but this is me. I call it tapping into my succubus energy. You guys don't know what a succubus you know what a succubus is, right? It's like a female demon that basically gains power uh from like absorbing or sucking the sexual energy of men. So basically if you give guys like blue balls, then you can absorb their energy that way, and it'll make you more powerful. That's like the female, because you know how they always say that men, when they have sex with women or when they sleep with a bunch of women, they are harvesting the energy, the sexual energy of those women, and then they use that to manifest money, cars, more women, etc. While those women, you know, if those women don't play their cards right, they will end up being depleted by the guy that they're dealing with because they're giving up their life force energy for free to these guys, right? That's why that's why you see a lot of workers, like strip dancers, people in the whole nightlife industry, not necessarily like prostitution, but the whole work has a very broad spectrum, right? It includes everything from, you know, dancers to OnlyFans girls to, I don't know, like random call lines where they just talk dirty to men. Like that's why those women, you see that, okay, there are cases where, I mean, if they're doing the work from a place of desperation, then yes, there's a lot of tragic cases where they may end up on drugs or whatever. But the women that enter those fields with a plan and with a head on their shoulders about what they want to get out of the situation, when they put themselves at the front and center of their whole operation, they retain their energy and their youthful vigor because they're getting compensated, right, for the extra energy that they're giving to these guys. So there's also a flip side to that though, which means that if you embody the succubus spirit like I do, if you truly enjoy like male attention, and on top of that, if you enjoy the feeling of like getting all this attention from men, but knowing that none of them are gonna get it from you unless they give you a literal Lamborghini, right? Or unless they buy you a literal house. Like you gotta give me land in order for me to give some of this up to you in any sort of concrete way, right? Like anything more, a handshake, or sometimes I let them kiss my cheek, but anything past that, I'm gonna have to pay big time for that. And you know, a lot of them can't afford to, or they're not willing to pay for that. So they walk away frustrated, but I walk away energized because I'm a succubus, you know? So that's part of dark feminine energy. That's part of dark femininity. And what I'm trying to say here is that when it comes to any area goal that you're trying to manifest that is particularly difficult for you, like you have a particularly hard time or you yo-yo back and forth, right? So I'm using weight as an example because that's a common one for all of us. Even me, who's never been truly overweight in her life, I struggle when it comes to, like, you would think that it would be easy for me. It should be easy for me to drop 2 kilos, just like I'm already at a skinny weight. So it's not even, I don't even have to overcome that big of a hurdle that you would have to if you're severely overweight, right? Like I'm not completely, what's the word? When I look at myself in the mirror, I'm not completely demotivated by the fact that, oh, I'm like so sizes over my ideal size, and I don't get overwhelmed by the thought that, you know, how long is it going to take me to drop like 50 30 pounds. For me, it's literally like 5 pounds at most that I'm always wanting to slim down at any particular time. So you would think that it would be easy for me, but it's still not, right? Because for some reason, I don't know, for some reason I get stuck at 52 kilos these days, and I would really like to get down to 50 at least, but Also have my own like self-sabotaging patterns, but I will tell you what helps me. I will tell you that, okay, so finally getting to the point. Basically, I'm not saying it's impossible, right? I'm saying it's gonna be a constant uphill battle, and be like, it's not going, there's not really going to be any merit to the right way, okay? Or, sorry. Yeah, when you're trying to manifest a result, like weight loss, for example, that you have historically had a very emotionally struggle with, is going to be very, very hard for you to manifest that without harnessing the full power of dark femininity, right? So, what do I mean by this? If you're somebody that has been overweight your whole life, or you've always had a problem with binge eating, emotional eating, things of that nature, I'm not trying to discourage you, but I'm just gonna give it to you straight. In my experience, in my observation, it's not gonna work if you say that, okay, I'm gonna lose weight now because I wanna be healthier, right? I know that's what the media likes to push. I know that that's the politically correct way to think about it. That's, you know, that's the responsible thing to say to a friend who's trying to lose weight. You wanna tell her that, oh, it's not about your weight, it's not about your size, or, you know, it's not about how hot guys are gonna think that you look once you're slim. It's how healthy you are. Like, you wanna be a healthier person because you deserve to be healthy. But no, okay, telling you all right now, that's bullshit. It is, it may be, okay, it may be a slight chance that for you, you genuinely don't care about looking hot or whatever. Like, you may genuinely care about your health first and foremost. But let me ask you a question. If that was the case, then why aren't you skinny yet though? If it really was about improving your health, right? If it was about the fact that, oh, okay, so I just don't like the fact that I'm overweight and I feel out of breath time I climb up the stairs, then why would you not already have lost the weight by now if it was just about your health? You see? So that means that blockage is coming from somewhere else. And it's likely, so I can't, unless I speak with you like personally one on one, I can't diagnose exactly what every individual person that's struggling with this is going through. But I'm going to tell you the common causes, okay, for any like straight female, mainly feminine energy identifying being out there who is struggling with weight. It usually has to do with wanting to feel desirable, wanting to feel attractive, wanting to be admired, okay, wanting to be praised, and to reap the benefit of the social privilege that comes with being skinny and having a nice body, which translates to people thinking that you're more attractive, which translates to people doing more favors to you, you having more unfair advantages in certain social situations just by the simple fact that you are now skinnier and you now fit the beauty standard. Your body now fits, you know, the standard of what is considered like top elite. Okay, so in order to tap into, this is a very non-politically correct, also a very powerful frequency to tap into. Once you decide to let go of this goody two-shoes mask that you've been putting on, that I just want to lose weight because I want to be healthy. Oh, you know, I just want to lose weight because you know, because I want to live a longer life, and my family members, my loved ones, they deserve me to be on the earth as long as possible. So I'm doing this for the collective good of everyone. Bullshit, okay? You need to just try it, right? Just try the dark feminine approach for a month, because clearly two shoes approach has not been getting you anywhere so far. So why don't you just try the dark feminine approach for at least a month. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But I'm telling you, if you can let go of this, that you have to set a good example for people, or whatever the reason that you have, right? Like, oh, people are gonna judge me, people are gonna think I'm superficial, etc. Yeah, let them think whatever they're gonna think. They are gonna think that. I'm telling you right now, they are gonna think that. And so what? Are you gonna let that stop you from achieving your dream body and from attaining the pretty privilege, the thin privilege that you've secretly wanted all your life, but for some reason you feel like you're a bad person? If you admit that, or if you go full force with that as the true reasoning for why you're trying to lose weight, like, really ask yourself this, because this is something that, I'm just so thankful that I was born a Slytherin and a snake in the year of the Chinese zodiac, because I don't have these types of hangups, right? Like, I I'll be the villain all day, every day, if it means that I can get what I want in this world. So that doesn't mean that I'm gonna go out of my way to hurt people or anything like that, but I'm gonna do whatever I feel like. I know exactly the type of life I want to live, and I'm not apologetic about it. I don't feel bad about it. Even if someone were to try to make me feel bad about it, that would just make me even more energized. Like, wow, they're so bothered by me just existing and living my life, right? So I have no hangups about people thinking about me in any sort of way, or thinking that I'm harlot, or whispering me behind my back because I just happen to get skinnier and hotter every time they see me. Yeah, you should be worried. You should be bothered, because that's only a reflect. Those people, those hypothetical people, it's only a reflection on themselves and how dissatisfied they are with their life, right? Because anybody who is living their life to the fullest, unapologetically, and not making decisions based on other people's perceptions of them, they don't have any need to they don't have anything to project other people when it comes to, like, judgment, right? They have nothing to judge other people about for pursuing their own true desires. um have you guys seen Christina Aguilera recently been making kind of a buzz on social media, because she was recently in Japan, which I was very upset about because I was not able to into her. I think she was in Osaka though, so she's not even in Tokyo. But yeah, X Tina, triple X Tina, right? And she looks the same as she did back in her triple X Tina days. So Christina Aguilera is 43 years old, and she apparently had a lot of work done, but it's like flawless work. Everyone's jaws were on the ground when they saw her recent, TikToks and reels. She looks exactly the same as she did in her early 20s. And she's not just face, but her body as well. She looks like she has the body of a teenager. Like, that's how slimmed down she is. Maybe it's due to Ozempic or whatever, but that's another thing. Like, if you want this bad enough, if you want to lose weight, or we're using losing weight as just the main example here, but it can be applied to anything, right? If you have a block towards, like, earning more money, for example, at your job, then you can still apply the same dark feminine principles. Like, don't stop holding yourself back. Like, why not popping your shit? I feel like you just need to be popping your shit more often. That's a TikTok joke meme thing. But, like, you need to apply the same. Okay, I don't want to use the word savage. I mean, I like the word savage, but I feel like it's getting a little overused these days, so I'm gonna use the word, like, yeah, dark feminine. If you don't want to be savage, then at least lean to radical self-love. That's what we're gonna call it. You need to have radical self-love, and guess what? Radical self-love for yourself, by definition, is nothing that is able to please everyone around you, because it's designed to please yourself, okay? It's designed for something like self-preservation. Radical self-love, not radical others love. And so, yeah, same thing if you want to earn more money. You can't just keep yourself boxed into this safe zone of, oh, well, it's because I want to be more financially secure. I want to make sure that my future children are well provided for, or that, my parents don't have to worry about anything once they pass away. They know that I'm taken care of financially. No, fuck that shit. Like, why do you really want to make more money? So that you can buy designer goods and flex them on the gram? Okay, if that's the real reason, then own it, right? Like, step into your villain era. Who gonna check you, boo? So then next time that, like, that, I'm telling you that Once you own your deepest, darkest desires, which you don't have to tell anyone, by the way, this is what I always remind everyone that you can. This is the power of a manifestation journal, right? Or a diary, which means that you write it for yourself, whether you actually take pen to paper and write it down or you just think about it in your head. There is no such thing as the thought police right now in 2024. You know, as that I'm recording this video, I don't know about later in the future, but as of right now, there's no such thing as the thought police. We are not living in George Orwell's 1984. Okay? You are allowed to have the deepest, darkest desires. Um, you are allowed to, and again, remember that dark doesn't mean bad. It's just like dark desires, you know, not. Oh, that sounds like a good first name or like a series name, Dark Desires. I feel like I should make another video based on that phrase alone. But yeah, you are entitled to your deepest, darkest feminine desires. We will say that it just means not politically correct. It doesn't mean that you want to harm anyone, okay? It doesn't mean that you want to like kill a kitten or something. But it just means that it's something that's not politically correct. It may not be acceptable, but if it's not harming anyone else, then who gives a fuck? Like, you go ahead and aim for your goals, okay? You manifest. When you manifest from that place of, I want to bring into existence this dark desire, like the real dark desire underneath all of the PC reasonings that you give for whatever you're trying to manifest, I'm telling you that is a way that has a way more powerful, energetic, magnetic charge to it than any like watered down, you know, PC politically correct reasoning could ever have, okay? So just step into your villain era. You want to manifest more money? Is it really because you want to take care of your family? I don't know. I find it hard to believe. I know that that's what everyone says. Yeah, that's what all the celebrities say, right? All of the inspirational people that we hear interviews from, the reason that they give. It may very well be true for them, but don't take everything at face value. Take everything with a grain of salt. Like, do you really think that they're going to sit up there, you know, 60 Minutes, whatever internationally broadcasted news station, TV show, do you really think they're going to sit up there and admit to the real reason why they wanted to make a lot of money? Like, oh, because I was already popular in school and I just wanted to have access to all the hottest chicks in the world, and I knew the only way to do so, you know, as a guy like myself who didn't have any game or whatever, was to become a millionaire or become a billionaire. Do you really think they're going to sit up there and say that? Some people do, right? Ones that have no um blockages, or you know, the ones that don't rely on the opinions of others to regulate their own self-worth. And we tend to love those people, right? Even if they say really politically incorrect things, or even if they say things that are out of pocket, we tend to love the people that are forward and have no filter and just tell you what it is straight up. That's a part of authenticity too. So yeah. So if you want to be hot, if you want to have pretty privilege, thin privilege, if you want guys to give you free stuff, then just say that. You don't have to say it to me or to the public. Those are just examples, right? There could be other reasons. There could be other dark feminines for you to want to lose weight or make more money or something like that. But whatever your reason is, just make sure that you're not lying to yourself, okay? And just when you operate from the true dark desire in your heart, underneath the PC reasoning, underneath the PC reasons that you give to everyone else so that you seem like a good member of society, that's going to way farther in your manifestations. That's going to make them materialize a lot quicker because you're removing that pressure that you put on yourself, that you need to be a good person for whatever reason. Like, what does that even mean? Who defined a good person or a bad person? So if somebody came up to me and they were like, hey, Ren, you know, I think that you're a pretty crappy person because you like to, you know, you have this YouTube channel where you review makeup products and like you're trying to you're always trying to level up, you're always trying to make yourself look prettier and hotter. But I think you're a crappy person because you do that in order to get like better treatment from men, women, everyone in society. I'd be like, okay, and stay mad, you know? Like you can think I don't care, I really don't care what you think of me as long as I'm not hurting anyone. I'm over here just living my life and materializing all of my dreams. I'll be the villain in your story, sure. You need to let go of the good girl mentality, right? Like even okay, so let's get off the weight topic. I'll just go back to the job too. Like I'm working at my new job in cybersecurity now. It's for a really big famous company. Um on one hand, like on some level, yes, I'm interested in just the cybersecurity field as a whole. Like this is a field that I've been trying to break into for the past 2 years, and I was kind of I didn't give up, but I kind of stalled in my efforts for the past year because I started to think that okay, maybe I need to get a certificate first. That's going to require at least 6 months of dedication to studying and, you know, passing this test. I was going to take this test called the CompTIA, which they recently updated. So like now I'm confused again which one I should take. And apparently I was asking some of my colleagues in my last week which tests I should take, and they haven't none of them have heard of PIA. Like it's not a thing in Japan apparently. But little did they know though, I'm trying to market my resume so that it's attractive to employers worldwide, including like, you know, UAE, the Dubai, the UAE, Dubai, which they don't know. They think that I'm like planning to work in Japan forever, but little do they know, I might just up and leave your ass any second for if the UAE branch of this company has an opening, happen to have a world internationally recognized cybersecurity certificate on top of the experience that I'm gaining now in the Japan branch, then it's gonna be easier for me to get hired anywhere else in the world. Anyway, my point is, so there is like that aspect of me just genuinely being interested in cybersecurity. I feel like it's a growing field that is only it's kind of like a recession proof field, and the earning potential is really high. And also not only that, but the field itself is ever evolving, right? So you need to be the kind of person who like to learn new things, who's not afraid to always like jump the next technology or the next trend that's happening in order to succeed in this field. And I just felt like it would be a great sort of transition for me, right? Because I'm kind of the whole, you know, project management thing. The problem that I won't say problem, but the challenge, I guess, that or the pattern that I've had throughout my entire career, I have always found myself in mostly project management roles, and I was able to kind of steer it towards IT in the past 5 years, but it's always been kind of like not a struggle, but it's been annoying sometimes when it came to selling myself in interviews and such without having like solid IT background. So I never studied science or IT or that field formally in university. I have an economics and an Asian studies degree, so that part kind of annoying when it came to the more technical roles, or like AKA the roles that had more that offered a higher salary because, you know, obviously the knowledge required for those roles is more niche, and it usually involves like, you know, coding, things like that, which I never learned formally. And so that's always been a hurdle for me whenever I was trying to up my salary prospects. That was the wall that I always came up against. And so I feel like this new job, if I really play my cards right, it was lucky in the sense that it was lucky in the sense that this role allows me to learn cybersecurity while I do it on the job. But that also means that I have to pull my weight as well for myself, right? Not like for the company. I need to stay on the ball basically because it's not since I never learned it formally, there's a lot of things that I have to pick up quickly while on the job. So they're being, of course, like everyone's very nice, they're very supportive. The guy that I'm working with, like the senior cybersecurity guy, is very nice and patient. Like he'll sit down with me and explain certain concepts if I don't understand them. But there's also, I'm very aware that I need to also be on top of everything, essentially, if I want to succeed in my own personal goals with this job. Like I want to get a cybersecurity certificate, and I want to be able to gain noteworthy experience that will actually carry some weight on my resume, right? So even 3 months out, 6 months out, we'll say, I want to be able to do enough so that it looks like I'm pretty caught up to speed on my resume. Does that make sense? But okay, what is the dark feminine reasoning behind that though? So like the politically correct reasoning that I tell society, that I tell people in interviews, is that, oh, I'm just interested in the cybersecurity field. It seems like it has a lot of growth potential, a lot of potential. Every single industry, you know, it doesn't matter what industry you're in or what companies, every company needs cybersecurity and age, because we're all vulnerable to cyber attacks, right? That we live in the digital age, so there's no way that you can run a business, which every business these days has an online component to it, so there's no way you could do that without having some form of cyber security protection in place. That's the PC reason. But what's the dark feminine reason? Well, cybersecurity is still largely a male-dominated field. So right now, even with my team that I'm in, or my immediate team, so there's like the whole floor that I work on. Half of it is kind of the entire IT department, and then my team in particular is called the cybersecurity team, right? So that it's about 10 people, and every single one aside from me, every single member aside from me is a male, right? And I prefer to men over women because it's just easier. Okay, I'm not gonna get into the politics of that in this team, but yeah, it's definitely better for me if I get to work with all men, because then I get to be like the cybersecurity baddie, like I like to refer to myself. I get to be, you know, the cute one. I get to be the feminine one, and everyone else kind of just catering to my needs. And they're not gonna be like bitchy for no reason or looking me up and down if I look cute or if I have on some sort of cute outfit. I don't wear anything inappropriate to work, obviously, but if I'm just dressing cute, or, you know, my makeup is really well done, you know, my skin is popping, like I don't have to deal with jealousy from other women. Oh, one other woman actually in my department, I lied, but she's like much older and very friendly, much older, and I had a really nice conversation with her the other day actually. She used to work in Hong Kong for like years before she came back to Japan, and so yeah, I really liked her. It's not that, like, I'm not trying to say that I don't like working with women, but I prefer to work with men because you just get more treatment that way, straight up, and that's how I like to work, okay, if I'm gonna work. And I'm so serious about this actually, to the point where, so one of the guys that is okay, I can't say the country, but yeah, one of the guys that's on assignment here, so he's in a different branch of the company in a different country, but I think he's on some special contract where he gets to stay in Tokyo and work in the Tokyo branch for a year or something, but his manager is still the manager of that branch in the other country, so he doesn't have a direct manager in Japan. Anyway, I think he's like a little bit younger. He may be in his late 20s, but he asked me to go to lunch the other day, and I was actually like really happy because up until then I had actually never gone out to lunch with any of my workers, because not because people are not willing or anything, but I don't know, everyone is just, I assume that everyone is just very busy, and there's a big room on the floor underneath us that a lot of people just tend to buy food from the kombini and eat there for lunch, and I'm not a fan of that. I feel like we are in Ginza, so why not take advantage of it? I don't know. Maybe it's not great though, in terms of like, I don't know, maybe they'll be the ones laughing all the way to the bank when it's time to retire and they have like a huge nest egg because they decided not to spend all eating out in Ginza every day for lunch. and saving their money instead, and maybe I'll be the one with egg on my face because I spent my money in Ginza and now I don't have like compound interest to show for it in my savings account. But he asked me to go to lunch with him, so I was happy because I was like, yay, you know, first time I get to eat lunch with a coworker. But then he didn't pay. He had to pay for my lunch. So I'm never gonna go eat lunch with him again, okay? And that's just how the fuck I roll. And I'm able to do that because I'm not operating under good girl programming or brainwashing. I'm operating under my succubus dark feminine energy programming, okay? Which I'm telling you, it's better over here. It's way better over here, okay? We get what we want over here, and we get our beauty sleep, and we get invited to Tokyo Fashion Week. Like, people are just begging us to go, even though that we have a full-time job in Ginza, which is the fashion district of Tokyo anyway. But then that's crazy. Like, I work in one of the most fashion districts in Tokyo, and I'm getting hounded by this guy to go with him to Tokyo Fashion Week fashion shows. This is the power and the allure of the dark feminine, okay? You better step into your villain era, I'm telling you. I'm just telling you, it's better over here. Bad girls have all the fun, okay? Why do you think they say good girl turn bad? It's never bad girl turn good. So yeah, I like working in a male dominated field. That means I get to be like the cybersecurity, I get to be like the pretty, you know, the rare pretty female worker in this field. I could even start like a whole new YouTube channel or TikTok channel about cybersecurity, and I'm pretty sure that I could gain traction quickly just because I'm an attractive girl in this field. People want to look at me talk about things, especially if it's something in a male dominated field. It's like, ooh, very shiny, very interesting, very different from everyone else, right? And if they're mad about it, who's stopping them from getting an exchange operation? I mean, if you really want to compete with a girl. But yeah, like, even that coworker who asked me to eat lunch with him last week, it's not out of, like, I don't have any ill will or feelings towards him. He doesn't have to buy me lunch because we're both working. It's just a work lunch. But my rule for myself, though, is that I don't give energy to men for free, right? They have to pay in order to, like, receive my energy, because I'm a very bubbly, fun, friendly person to be around. And so why would, like, that doesn't make sense. Why would I give that out for free just because you're my coworker, especially if you're not gonna pay for like a 2,000 yen lunch? Bitch, please get out of here. Like, I could have I have like 10 on Bumble waiting to eat lunch with me any day of the week. Why would, so buy me lunch any day of the week. They might even want to come like pick me up at work. I wouldn't let them do that though, because then they would know where I work, and that would be kind of annoying if anyone turned out to be crazy. But yeah, I have like 10 guys lined up at any given time waiting to take me out and wine and dine me. So why would I give you energy for free just because we happen to situationally be in this place together? Like, no, I will rather take myself out to go eat and then like just find something to do on my phone, like edit a reel for social media or something, because that also makes me money. Basically anything that doesn't make me money, I'm not gonna do, okay? That's how the fuck I roll. And I'm saying this to you guys to illustrate like back end of how this dark feminine alchemy works, how I transmute things. I wouldn't say this out loud in public to anyone, right? Obviously, certainly not my coworkers, but this is the level of unapologetic that you need to be on. And let me tell you something, this is not even that intense compared to what some women do. There's women out there, you know, there's like, okay, I was falling down a rabbit hole the other day watching Stephanie Sue's videos about, she has this series about like the scandals of the Chinese billionaires and millionaires in the Chinaverse, as she calls it. So like all these, you know, like the millionaires in China, right? Or billionaires, I guess, at this point. And there's some guys that they will give their girlfriends a breakup fee as like compensation for the time that they spent with them. If the guy decides that he's ultimately not going to marry her, he'll give her $1 million as a break. I feel like that's fair, you know. And there are some girls in that world that are infamous for like, for example, I forget the exact cars because to be honest, I'm not really that savvy in cars. But there's one girl that like if she agrees to go out on a date with a guy, stay in her house and then look outside the window if the when the guy pulls up in his car. And if it's not like a Ferrari or above, something like that, I don't know. Not a Ferrari, she won't get in it. So even if it's a G-Wagon or something, I don't know. Is that more than a Ferrari? I actually don't know. But let's just say like G-Wagon or, like mid luxury, right? But Ferrari's like up here. So if it's not a certain level and above, then she won't even get out of her house. Like the date is canceled. So it's a spectrum, right? I mean, it's all relative, but you guys think I'm savage. I'm not even at the level that I'm satisfied with yet. That's what I aspire to, like not getting out of my house for anything except for a Ferrari. Like, wow. That is goals, okay, for me. For I don't know how many years that's gonna take, but next year, who knows? So yeah, like you think that you're doing, and I'm not saying this to shame anyone or I'm not saying this to put you down. I'm saying this straight a point, right? Like you think that you're doing a lot by, you think to yourself that, oh, but I do spoil myself though. Like I buy myself all these all this makeup, these clothes, I treat myself to nice food all the time. I make time for my self-care. Yeah, okay, you do all that, but I'm gonna tell you something. It's really not, that's like very basic level compared to the true dark feminine queens out here. You need to up the ante, basically. Like, you need to, okay, forgive the saying, but you know how they say step your pussy up? You gotta step your pee up, okay? And like don't be afraid of, I know a lot of people, they hesitate to do this because they feel like it's going to be a slippery slope. Well, if I start to be a little bit savage, then what if I don't know when to stop? What if I turn into the type of person that I don't like? And it's like, that's where the trust in yourself, that's why you need to cultivate trust in yourself. You need to trust yourself that you're not going to cross a line, you know? First of all, nobody's going to be perfect. We all have certain mistakes that we've made or certain things that we regret, but you live and you learn, right? Like when you do it once, you learn very quickly not to have the same situation play out again, or you know that the next time the same type of issue or situation presents itself to you, you know that you're going to handle it differently this time. You're going to handle it, you're going to work it out to handle it in a way that you can feel good sleeping at night about, right? It's better to put yourself out there and go through that process, which is what we call growth, than to just like stay stagnant in one place. Who wants to do that, right? That's the whole antithesis of what we were put on this planet to do. We were put here to grow and to challenge ourselves and to take risks, take leaps into different directions, or like, yeah, take risks for the dreams that we want to achieve, or the self-actualization, which is the ultimate goal of every living being on this planet, including rats and even like mitochondria, is that what it's called? Celled organisms, amoebas. That's what every living organism on life is programmed and wired to do, is to self-actualize. So, if you are honestly okay with staying in the same place your entire life because you feel like it's safer, you feel like you're never going to have to face, maybe, oh, sorry, my battery is dying. Okay, I'm still alive though, right? So yeah, do you want to stay in the same place just for the sake of, playing it safe and making sure that you never take any action ever in your life that you could possibly regret, or that you could possibly look back on and cringe like, ooh, that wasn't my proudest moment? Or want to continue to grow, continue to unlock amazing new life experiences, amazing new levels of life that you didn't even know existed? I would choose the growth, right? Even at the risk of making mistakes along the way. But I can tell you, I'm still gonna make mistakes. I'm still gonna be human. It's inevitable. But I can tell you that um, it's been a while now since I've actually made any choice or action that I truly regret, because the more iterations of this go through, the more iterations of conscious manifesting that I go through in my life, with every new manifestation, with every new level, I become more and more you're scared that you're going to lose yourself, but it's actually the opposite. It's an optical illusion. Like, you actually become more and more in tune with yourself. You know yourself even more deeply, right? And you know yourself, the situations, like the tests, if you want to call it that, that the universe throws at you, they might look situation like, okay, how do I describe this? The parameters of the tests that the universe gives you, the situations that you find yourself in, they may become more nuanced or even complicated, stickier in some cases, but the more that you exercise this muscle of balancing your light side with your dark feminine side, the more that you hone your ability to use your dark feminine power in a way that is savage and it is ruthless in terms of getting what you want out of life, but also while being mindful of not creating destruction in other people's lives along the way, the more that you practice that, the more that, like, the more convoluted and potentially sticky situations that you'll be able to get through, if that makes sense. Which, of course, none of us want that, but it's a part of life, right? There's always a possibility that the next challenge is going to pop up. And the more you exercise this muscle, the more you become familiar with working with your dark feminine power, like, the better you're going to get at controlling it and funneling it in a way that exactly, or as close as possible, gets to the exact outcome that you're looking for, if that makes sense. And you can even protect people along the way. You'll develop the ability to foresee things that you can even, like, prevent certain people from getting hurt or becoming casualties of your path along the way. So it all comes down to self-trust and radical self-love, and fully owning your fully stepping into your not victim, your villain era, your succubus era, if you will. I just don't believe when anyone tells me the goody two shoes, the good girl version of whatever reasoning they have for wanting to achieve something. Like, I don't, because if that was the true reason, if that reason was strong enough for you to do this thing, then why didn't you achieve it already? It's because it's not strong enough. It never will be. Okay, it's never gonna have the potency that your dark hidden desire will. So you might as well just, you only have two choices, right? You either accept what your true desire is, and you operate from the space of wanting to manifest that, right? So that means every time that you get the temptation to binge eat or self-sabotage, like if you the opportunity to interview for a really high-paying job and you find yourself self-sabotaging again, like maybe not preparing for the interview when you had plenty of time to do so, but you give in to your procrastination, your old habits, because because on some level you believe that you don't deserve it or you're not ready for it. Like, in those moments before you self-sabotage, if you just remind yourself of your true desire and what you're doing this all for, like with the weight loss example, okay? wanting to be like pretty and have privilege and have guys give you free things, buy you cars, buy you plane tickets all the time, or even girls too, being friendly to you, giving you special treatment. I promise you, I'm not saying this is correct or wrong, just saying that this is the truth from what I've seen. I promise you that's gonna be way bigger of a motivating factor. That's going to give you way more energetic charge if you keep telling yourself, oh, but I have to be healthy, like I'm trying to stay under 1800 calories a day because I'm trying to like balance out the amount of calories that I burn versus the amount that I consume. Like, come on. Nobody's going to stay motivated with something as boring as that. Okay, it needs to be charged with some dark, like dark feminine energy. Okay, I feel like that's all I needed to say on the topic, and I'm still super annoyed that I do this on my phone, because if I was able to do it on my laptop, I would have had my notes and everything in front of me, but whatever. At least we got it right. But yeah, I hope my monitor comes soon so that I can get back to business. And now that I know that I look actually kind of cute without makeup, on my camera phone at least, not on my real camera, then maybe I'll just go live more often now, even if I don't have my makeup done. But see, like, even that, okay, me not having my makeup done, like me not wanting to come on camera without my makeup done, it's not because I feel like, oh, I'm gonna be rude to my subscribers, or it's not because like I love you guys, I love my subscribers, I want to give you good quality content, I want to be genuine and authentic, all those things with you, but me not having my makeup done comes from a place of pure self-interest, right? I just want to put my best face forward anytime I come on live. Like, I want to look the baddest and the hottest that I can possibly can. I feel like I'm losing the ability to speak. I want to look the baddest and the hottest that I possibly can anytime that I come on live, anytime that I'm on social media, because that's what social media is for, right? You're supposed to be a stunt queen on social media. You're supposed to flex, okay? Like, it's not that serious. So for another person though that might have like still be under good girl programming, they might think that, oh, I should put on makeup because I don't want to be rude to my subscribers, right? Like, I want to put effort in for my subscribers. Yeah, okay, you can have that be part of the reasoning, but your main reasoning should not be about anyone else. It should be about how you want to benefit yourself and get what you want out of life. So for me, I don't like to come online without makeup, particularly because I feel like it's not I'm not at 100% if I don't have makeup on. I feel like I'm at 80%. I don't want my enemies out here looking at me at only 80%, popping my shit level, I want to be 100% all the time, which is of course not possible. I'm not saying that anyone, again, perfection is not the goal here, but that's the reasoning behind why I don't like to come without makeup. It has nothing to do with like, oh, I don't like the way I look, or oh, I don't want to seem lazy to my subscribers or to people that are. It's not because of that. It's all for me, okay? It's all for you. Soon you'll be, I forget the words. It's all for you. So yeah. Dark feminine. What was that phrase that I came up with earlier? Dark desires. Dark feminine desires, secret dark desires, something like that. Just own what you really want and like use the highest charged reason for why you want something. Use that as your actual motivation, okay? Like, stop force yourself into this box that other people try to put you in, probably since you were a child, to the point where you internalized it, and now you've been like unknowingly you have been self-regulating yourself for your whole life to, oh, be a good girl, make sure that you're doing things for the right reason, okay? Make sure if you want to lose weight that it's because you want to be healthy. Like, for some reason, for some people that might be the real reason, but I'm telling you, probably for the vast majority, especially for women, that is not the actual reason. That's not the overarching reason of why you want to be skinny and pretty. No, it's because as women, we want to be viewed as attractive. We want to be admired. by women and men, right? It's not even necessarily related to a romantic motivation. That's part of it, but even like asexual people, if they're women, they still want to be beautiful. They want to be admired. They want people to stop and stare when they look at them in the street. And so if that's your real desire, then if you can finally admit to yourself, then you allow yourself to harness the very potent energy of that particular underlying motive, which is very, very powerful. More powerful than it's like not even measurable. Probably 100 times more powerful than that little PC health-related reason that you were telling yourself for the past 20 years of your life. And also, it also once you remove the stigma of wanting to be beautiful because you want to be admired and not because you just want to be healthy, then you also open up even more possible pathways towards achieving your goal or your manifestation. Like, who said that I had to just power through it using only diet and exercise? There's so many other ways that you can do it these days. You can get gastric bypass surgery, you can get on Ozempic, you can take like in Tokyo they have these massages where like you can buy a massage course where they basically massage your well, everywhere really, but like for me in particular, I want to tighten up my hourglass shape, right? So there's a massage course that I can take where I go in once a week for 8 weeks and they'll like massage really hard my stomach area or like my legs too, to get all the water content out of there and help me, you know, help me regain that snatched shape that I like. So I'm not saying, like, I'm not advocating for you to do anything that you're not comfortable with doing. Like, if you really have a concern about, okay, I'm gonna undergo surgery because that's very taxing on your body, like the recovery could be brutal. That's a very real concern, but don't let your reasoning be tainted with any thought of, oh, it's because I don't want to get surgery because it's cheating, or like it's the easy way out. No, 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 no. Who decided that that was cheating or the easy way out? Like, who decided the rules in life? You know? Why are you over here playing by these so-called arbitrary rules when there are other people out here doing the surgery, getting the Ozempic, doing whatever that they need to do to achieve their dream body in the fastest way possible, and now they're out here living their dream life, not dealing with any consequences because they're not dealing with karma because they chose to take the easy way out by getting surgery. So why would you, right? Why do you feel like a bad person somehow by taking the easy way out or taking an unorthodox route? You know what I did? You know what I realized the other day? I'm sorry, this is gonna sound so out of left field, but like in Gattaca, which is my favorite movie of all time, right? So you know, in Gattaca, spoiler alert, if you've never watched it, you should watch it, by the way. It is amazing. But you know how Vincent like needs to make himself look as close to Jerome as possible in order for their little switcheroo operation to work. And so part of that, I mean, like the face, they're able to merge both of their pictures together so that it looks like a height of them both, and they're like both tall. They're both you know, white guys in their mid-30s, so it's not that big of a deal to make their face look the same. And I think he also wears contacts, right? Because yeah, Jerome has blue eyes, so Vincent had to get blue contacts. And then he wears these like skin pads on his fingers that have samples of Jerome's blood in it, so that every time he goes into Gattaca, because they have to give like a drop of blood every time they visit, because DNA checking, DNA, what's it called? DNA ID checking at Gattaca headquarters. But the biggest physical transformation that he had to go through, though, to make it convincing that he was Jerome, is his leg lengthening surgery. Remember? And it just hit me the other day that that's basically plastic surgery. Like, Vincent was able to achieve his dreams of getting into Gattaca through plastic surgery. It was under my nose the whole time. I can't believe I never realized this about my favorite movie. So, if plastic surgery was good enough for Vincent to use as a means to achieve, manifest his greatest dream in life, then it's good enough for me, okay? But yeah, speaking of plastic surgery, I want to get stuff done. I just don't know where to start. Like, I don't know. I'm very wary of Botox because I just feel like I've heard too many horror stories. I've heard too many warnings about how it never fully dissolves, like it never fully leaves your face, you know? I feel like there's residue that just stays in your face permanently. That really freaks me out. So that's why I've never gotten Botox before, but I don't know, like should I try it at least once? Cuz I have you can't really see in because of the light, but I have this one wrinkle here. You see there's like two wrinkles. I know it's very faint. It's not a huge deal, but it kind of bothers me. Like I notice it every time I look in the mirror. So I'm like, is this something that Botox would take care of? Um or should I just forget about this because nobody really notices that anyway? And should I focus more on neck? Because I have these really deep necklines that have actually been there ever since I was a teenager. Like this is something that I am actually selfish about. I really don't like my neck wrinkles. Um, they're not that bad. It's not like, at least, you know, my neck skin is not saggy or anything, but I just don't like how they look, and I'm trying to look into procedures that can get rid of this. But I feel like the technology for neck wrinkles in particular is not advanced enough for me to try it out yet. Like I just want to wait a little bit more until they come out with something more effective because as of right now, I don't think there's any sort of like revolutionary advancements that have been made so far for reducing neck wrinkles in particular. I've seen this one procedure. I completely forgot what it's called, but it's almost like it's a little bit aggressive. It's almost like they kind of iron out your neck, but I've seen the results and they really don't look all that great to me. I feel like you can still see the wrinkles. It's just I don't know, it's just a little more stretched out, but you can definitely still see the wrinkles at least on the subjects that they for that video. And yeah, I wasn't impressed with the results. So I'm thinking maybe I can wait on the neck and just try some sort of injection, or I don't know. I want to get rid of, or I want to reduce the appearance of these lines as well. It's called horeisen in Japanese. I don't know what it's called in English, like smile lines, I guess. I'm talking about just the though right here. You can't see it because I feel like the light, or maybe just the lighting on this phone camera is good, but I don't know. I think it's also because, you know what I noticed the other day? Probably half of the culprit is just that awful fluorescent lighting in my office building. Because I noticed that, like, when I'm at home, after I finish my makeup in the morning, I feel like it looks fine, you know, in my moderate apartment lighting. But, like, the minute that I get to the office and I go into the bathroom there, I'm like, hell, it looks like my hair is thinning. It looks like my skin is super hydrated, and like I don't know, my foundation is already caking by the time I walk in there because it's like 33 degrees out here and humid. And so I don't think it's the lighting in the office building that is making me look bad. But then sometimes like I look at some of the other girls in the different departments, not in IT because there's not a woman in the IT department, but like sometimes I see some of the girls coming from the other department and I'm like, they look really nice though. But is that just because I'm looking at them from far away, and like maybe to other people I also look nice? Maybe I'm just being overly harsh on myself because when I look in the mirror I'm like seeing every single pore and wrinkle that I have. I don't know, but I want to do something. So I was thinking of like, what's the best way to get rid of these? Not get rid of, but lift it up just the tiniest bit. Like, should I get a string facelift, or I get Botox here, Or should I just get like, should I just continue doing my gua sha? Because that honestly, the cheapest and most effective way I've noticed so far. I spent like 8,000 yen, I think. I don't even remember. No, not 8,000 yen, like $5,000, 80,000 yen, almost 80,000 yen on Haifu last year or 2 years ago. And you know, Haifu, right? Like they kind of iron out your face with these electromagnetic waves. There's like 3 different irons that they use. And so I did 5 sessions of that course of 6 months 2 years ago, and the results are good. But I felt like, I don't know, I kind of felt like a dummy after um after I finished the last session, and then the results kind of wore off after like 6 8. But then I started to just do gua sha like at home. I don't know where my tool is. I don't know what it is, right? Like the stone massage thing. And then I just use oil. This Rovectin multi-use oil, so that it's slippery, so that I'm not tugging at my skin. And I feel like that alone pretty much gives me the same effect as the Haifu. So I could have saved myself like $5,000. Yeah. And a lot of pain too, because it was painful. Like I was not a fan. And then I also have been taking this fish collagen pills or vitamins from YesStyle. I think I got this. Yeah, I got this for free with my birthday coupon. I'm gonna take one right now, actually. And then I got these iron supplement gummies because I heard that if your hair is thinning, or if you want to grow like thicker, healthier hair, it could most likely be because of an iron deficiency in your diet. So I'm gonna take these for at least a month and see how that goes. I think the fish collagen vitamins are definitely working. And there's a lot of different other ways that you can take collagen. There's drinks and stuff. Shiseido has their famous collagen line. I personally like the Asahi one. I forget what it's called, but that one has like higher concentration of collagen. But those kind of, I noticed that I'm not a fan of drinking collagen or even mixing the powder that they have into my actual drinks, because I feel like it just bloats up a lot. So I'm a fan of taking just 2 or 3 pills a day because it doesn't bloat me, and yeah, it doesn't feel like I'm having to fit an extra drink into my stomach just to get some collagen. And the same thing with the gummies. Well, gummies are kind of my weak spot though, so I need to be careful with gummies because you're only supposed to take 2 of these per day, but I literally ate like 6 today. So yeah, I hope that nothing goes wrong. But this is supposed to be lasting for 20 days and I already ate like 6. But I also found a great loophole, like a great little cheat code for making sure that I take these regularly every day, because that was another, like, I would group it into the self-sabotaging behavior that I had in the past, where I was never able to keep a schedule for anything that I wanted to do, especially when it related to self-care or like beauty related regimens, like taking vitamins and stuff. I think I'm gonna start getting more supplements. I'm gonna start like educating myself more on what vitamins or what supplements do what in your body, and yeah, like make sure that I get the recommended amount of each. So I realized that if I bring these to work, then it's gonna be much easier for me to take these on a consistent basis, because at work there's enough, it sounds kind of sad, but it's the truth, there's enough stretches of time at work where I'm literally bored out of my mind, that like in order to break the boredom, in order to do anything that will save me from dying of boredom, I would take my vitamins, right? because that would be like, if I'm at home, there's like too much stimulation, too much distraction, too many things that I would rather do or that I would sooner give my time to than taking vitamins. But at work, since I'm stuck there and I'm like bored out of my mind half the time, then I have no choice but to reach for my vitamins in order to break the monotony. You know what I'm saying? I feel like, okay, I saw a video on this some time ago too, and I don't know if there's a term for it. I'll try to find it and link it if I remember, but oh, I can't because my laptop won't turn on the screen. But no, there was a video that I saw about how to, it was like one of those productivity videos, or like how to overcome procrastination, something like that. And they said that one of the suggestions that the guy was talking about in the video was that, like, for example, if you have to get work done, let's say you work from home or you work on your own business, you have to get like a certain amount of work done in an 8-hour day, and you're nervous about if you have enough discipline to do so, or if you know that you have certain procrastination habits that might prevent you from finishing your to-do list for the entire day. He said that the best, like the actual strategy, the actual best practical strategy that would work is if you literally isolate yourself in, let's say, like a co-work space or a hotel room or something. I think he used the example of a hotel room, and he said, like, bring your work laptop, whatever you need for work, only bring that with you to the hotel room, and then just lock yourself like in that room, right, for the next 8, 10, or 12 hours. This is what Bill Gates did too back in the day. Like, there was a famous story about how Bill Gates would lock himself in a hotel room and he would use the yellow legal pads, you know, the throwback ones from these, and he would just like write out maniacally all of his ideas and codes or whatever on the yellow legal pads, and that's how he would get most of his work done. Like, that's how he would achieve more productivity in his work. And so yeah, the basic concept of it is that you want to, like, motivation is only going to take you so far, but the thing that's actually going to push you to get shit done, especially stuff that you're not looking forward to or work that is very boring, is to put yourself in a situation, in an environment where the only other option besides doing that work or that thing is like even more boring and mind numbing, right? So if you take yourself to a hotel room with your work computer and, like, let's say some materials that you have to reference for your work, and this is something that you don't want to do, it's tedious, but if you take yourself to a hotel room where you don't have any of the distractions that you have at home, right? So you don't have a snack that you can reach for, you don't have like a fridge where you can, you know, take a break every 5 minutes and go peek at what's in the fridge, your cat is not meowing every 10 minutes for attention, you don't have a TV. Yeah, make sure you get a hotel room without a TV, right? So literally, if you put your hotel room with your work computer, your only option is to either do that work or just like sit there on your bed and stare outside at the view, which, okay, honestly, don't threaten me with a good time because I might just do that. But you know, you get what I'm saying here, right? Like, it's a matter of relativity. Okay, so just put yourself in a situation where doing the thing that you are not looking forward to doing is actually the best alternative to what else is available to you in that environment. So in the hotel room, like, what, you're gonna sit on the bed and watch paint dry for 8 hours? I don't think so. That would drive you crazier even more than having to do this tedious work that you've been putting off. So your brain is gonna very quickly get with the program that, okay, I might as well just like suck it up and do this work, and then I'll be done with it and I can feel happy and move on with my life, maybe treat myself to a nice dinner after I'm done with this day. Okay, so okay, I feel a little bit better, but I'm still very upset that my MacBook decided to go black on me, the screen. I don't appreciate this test universe. We didn't even have a typhoon. Like, how are you gonna not even deliver me the typhoon that I was promised so that I could work from Monday? But then you shut down my MacBook for no reason in the middle of uploading a makeup video too. I was so excited for that video to be uploaded, and now I'm super bummed. I tried out so much new stuff too. Tried out the Unleashia cushion, pink cushion, the new RMK lilac blush that I picked up from Haneda. I tried out some Girl Cult eyeshadows. This I was looking forward to for like 3 whole weeks as I was waiting for it to get shipped to me. But, you know, it will get uploaded with due time. I just need to get my monitor and get on with the show. Okay. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you next time. Bye.